Mastering cross-cultural communication skills. You can't speak without bias, so own it. What steps do you take to guarantee that your verbal and non-verbal communication is free from cultural bias and stereotypes, and that your message is received by the intended audience in the way you intend it, when interacting with people from diverse cultural backgrounds in a multicultural setting? To guarantee that verbal and non-verbal communication is free from cultural bias and stereotypes, and that the message is received by the intended audience in the way it is intended, it is essential to adopt a culturally sensitive and adaptable approach to communication. This can be achieved by following these steps. 1. Cultural self-awareness. Recognize and acknowledge one's own cultural biases, stereotypes, and assumptions. Be aware of how these biases can influence verbal and non-verbal communication. This self-awareness is crucial in avoiding unintended offense or miscommunication. 2. Pre-interaction research. Research the cultural backgrounds of the intended audience. Gather information on their customs, values, norms, and communication styles. This research will help in identifying potential areas of cultural sensitivity and avoiding unintended offense. 3. Clear and simple language. Use clear, simple, and concise language to convey the message. Avoid using jargon, idioms, or colloquialisms that may be specific to one culture and unfamiliar to others. Use interpreters or translators if necessary, to ensure accurate communication. 4. Active listening. Practice active listening by maintaining eye contact, nodding, and asking clarifying questions. This helps to ensure that the message is understood correctly and provides an opportunity to clarify any misunderstandings. 5. Avoid stereotyping. Refrain from making assumptions about individuals based on their cultural backgrounds. Treat each person as an individual, rather than a representative of their cultural group. 6. Non-verbal awareness. Be mindful of non-verbal cues such as body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. These cues can vary across cultures and may be misinterpreted if not understood correctly. 7. Awareness of power dynamics. Recognize potential power imbalances that may exist due to cultural or linguistic differences. Be sensitive to these dynamics and adapt communication strategies accordingly. 8. Feedback loop. Establish a feedback loop to ensure that the message is received as intended. Encourage the audience to provide feedback and ask questions to clarify any misunderstandings. 9. Flexibility and adaptability. Be prepared to adapt communication strategies if they are not effective. Be flexible and willing to adjust tone, language, and nonverbal cues to better connect with the audience. 10. Continuous learning. Engage in continuous learning and professional development to improve cultural competence and communication skills. Attend cross-cultural communication training, workshops, and seminars to stay updated on best practices. 11. Use of visual aids. Use visual aids such as diagrams, charts, and pictures to support verbal communication. This can help to clarify complex messages and reduce the risk of misinterpretation. 12. Avoid cultural references. Avoid using cultural references, humor, or idioms that may be specific to one culture and unfamiliar to others. Instead, use universal examples and analogies to illustrate points. 13. Respect for cultural differences. Demonstrate respect for cultural differences and avoid making value judgments. Recognize that cultural differences are not inferior or superior, just different. 14. Cultural brokerage. Identify cultural brokers or mediators who can facilitate communication between individuals from different cultural backgrounds. These brokers can provide valuable insights and help to navigate cultural differences. 15. Debriefing and reflection. Debrief and reflect on communication interactions to identify areas for improvement. reflect on what worked well and what did not, and adjust communication strategies accordingly. By following these steps, individuals can ensure that their verbal and nonverbal communication is free from cultural bias and stereotypes, and that their message is received by the intended audience in the way they intend it.